Good afternoon. This is top of Royal Palm Plaza. 8 stories above Chops here in downtown Boca Raton. Just over the newswire. Tiger Woods involved in another car crash in Florida. We don't know anything else about his condition, but everyone is wondering, of course. He needs to go to driving school. What do you think? Oh, boy. Anyway, welcome to episode 580. Can you believe it? 580 episodes. Yours truly. Yeah, you're my little fief to me. My little 6 foot by 6 foot. That's what it is, man. 6 foot wide and 6 foot deep. I can push my chair back just about 1.5 feet when I run out of room here. Got my FAU jacket on, as you can tell, and here's my trusty iPad. Friday, March 27. It's about 3:40 in the afternoon, and seems like President of the United States has signed an emergency executive order funding DHS so that the TSA gets paid current paycheck and all back paychecks immediately, if not sooner, whatever that means. So, I don't know whether they can work late tonight or fund them Monday morning. I don't know how that works, but they know they're going to get paid. 40.7% of the TSA workers had to call out in Atlanta Hartsfield International Airport today. You get 40% of your people calling out because, how many weeks can you go unpaid? These are not $150,000 a year people. They're $50,000 a year people. Most $50,000 a year people are, in their 30, pretty much paycheck to paycheck. How much of a savings account can you have? Maybe you just bought a house. You don't have any savings. You get the point. Yeah. Anyway, I think the president just stepped in and said enough of this nonsense. The House sent down a bill that the Senate just sent a bill down to the House, and the House says this is baloney. Not acceptable. Well, remember my dog likes to sleep next to his shoe, my shoe. Look at the little squeaker. He's all folded up in fetal position, it looks like. Yeah. Well, he's found a new box. It seems like it's a little shorter, a little smaller, but taller. So, well, and forget the shoe. No room for shoe. Oh, gosh. Friday afternoon, everyone's trying to reach Jimmy. No way. Jose. All right, I got a date tonight. Hurry up over to me and Rosebud at 4:40. We're going to happy hour. Yep, we're going to slip over to me and Rosebud. I'm going to get me one of them Kobe beef hot dogs. Matter of fact, I'm getting 2 of them, I think. Yeah. Okay. Today is the last day up until 10 o'clock tonight. 9 up to 9:59. 9:59 p.m. tonight be the last chance you get to enroll in that $70 million rollover Mega Millions. Yeah, jackpot. March 27 edition. The last, that's not the last, the second to the last. There's one, I think there's one more shot in March. Let's see, you got 27. Which one is it? Yep, I think we got one more. Yeah. I think you got one more of these.
It's 3:45.
Anyway, let's take a look at what I've done with this. Yeah, a little jiggle here, a little jiggle there. Yeah. Can't leave well enough alone. So let's show you what's going on here. So here's the rollover. And if someone were to win, if there was a single winner of the jackpot, the $70 million jackpot would turn into 31,600,000. Can you imagine? The grand prize, if you decided for the lump sum, would be 31,600,000. That's just my opinion, by the way. Notice on the very top line, lump sum payout, after-tax payout, dollar values are estimates produced by the author, Jim Wilson, yours truly. I put my name in there. All data presented have not been confirmed nor endorsed by any lottery. This is just Jimmy So 5 p.m. news conference on Woods crash. Woods, obviously. Yeah, the car is some kind of vehicle has rolled over. Looks like some kind of an SUV on its side. So, if the driver had a seatbelt on, boy. Anyway. I don't know how he is. I don't see any ambulances there. They're all talking about when he got in a very serious accident. He was coming around a turn, it left the road, flipped upside down, ended up in a ditch. He had his legs damaged like unbelievable. So now he's got another crash here where where the car is on its side, and we don't know anything about its condition. They're showing pictures of everything. I can see a car on its side. And there's a 5 p.m. news conference. Tiger Woods involved in Florida car crash. That's the headline. Happened about 2 p.m. This is 3:40. All right, well, that'll be the news hawks will be all over that one like white on rice. Meantime, back to Lottery Central here. 31.6. Now, that would be the jackpot. But you don't get that because the long arm of Uncle Sam is going to reach down into Lottery Central and grab 24% withholding tax. So your jackpot goes from 31.6 to 24,016,000, rounded to the nearest thousand. And I'm putting you on notice. I'm going, here you go. Here's look at the bottom line right there. 31.6, 24,016. All right, that's after the 24% withholding. I have a new column I put in there. Less the additional 13% tax. Because if you made $31 million in 2016, assuming you didn't earn anything else, unless you're already a billionaire, the jackpot gets reduced by another 24%, and you end up with 24,016,000. Well, guess what? Since you're probably going to be in a maximum tax bracket of 37%, according to the great big beautiful bill that Trump signed into law recently, you're going to owe another 13%. 24 plus 13 is 37. In this case, you're going to have to pay another 4,108,000 in round numbers. I am not giving tax advice. I'm just saying. And so since I'm just saying, if I had won this, I'm going to take 4,108,000, put it in the side pocket, put it in an interest-bearing account, and that way because they're actually going to credit your account, 24,116,016, round numbers, no sooner than 15 days following the draw date. You got to tell the lottery within 60 days of the draw date of your intention to take the lump sum. Otherwise, you're getting the annuity. I'll get to that in a minute. So, assuming you get a hold of assuming you are going to want the lump sum, as many do, you're going to end up with 19. They're going to credit your account 24,016,000. And I'm just saying, if I were the winner, I'd put 4,106,000 in the side pocket, because that's the additional 13%, which you're going to have to pay, no later than, April 15th of 2017. So put that 4,108,000 in the side pocket. It'll earn, how much interest would that be? About 164,000. Can you imagine? You see the arrow right there, right? Whoops. Well, we're going to skinny that up a little bit so you can see all the digits. Yeah, my trusty calculator says that'd be about 164,320. So do that. That way, so you should have, 4,272,000, So that way you'd be sure to be able to pay that 4,108,000. So you still have 19,908,000 after you move that 4,108,000 in the side pocket. In a separate interest-bearing account, just put it there. So when you file your taxes, you could reach right in there and send that money right along. Yeah. Because 19,908,000 is not exactly chump change after all federal tax. Now, if you live in the state of Florida, there is no income tax on any income, including lottery income. I believe Tennessee and Texas similarly don't have income tax. Now, if you live in the state of New York, New Jersey, whatever, you're going to have to shell out another $4 million for the state income tax, which leaves you about $15 million. Isn't that disgusting? These $4 million float around all over the place. Yeah, anyway, since I don't know the state tax laws of all the other states, and I'm not going to do 50 spreadsheets or have 50 columns. No, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to show you. This is 19,908,000 is my guess on what your checkbook would look like. after all federal taxes. So they're going to credit your account $24,016,000. Can put $4,108,000 in the side pocket. That leaves me $19,908,000 to divvy up to some relatives, pay some monthly interest to some charities, and go buy a $5 or $6 million condo somewhere, or just stay put. I'm okay where the hell I'm at, actually. I'll let Marilyn decide that. So I just added a column in there, right there in the middle of your screen. 4,108,000. Let's go all the way up to the top. Jackpot lump sum payout, subject to 37% tax, less this additional federal tax of 13%. Okay, so you got 24,016,000. You know you're going to have to pay that extra, that other 13%. That's the 4,108,000, which leaves you 19,908,000. That column you've already seen before. It's just that middle column I added in there just because, we were doing the mental math in there. Subtracting 19,908,000 from 24,016,000. What is that? 4,108,000. I figured, you know what? Let's just put it in the column there so you know that A minus B equals C. Yeah. Jackpot after 24%, less the additional 13% tax equals the jackpot after all 37% FIT, federal income taxes paid. Yeah. All right. If you, by some chance, did not notify Lottery Central before 60 days following the draw date, you're getting the annuity. That's the rules. You got to notify them within 60 days, or else you don't have an option. You're going to get the annuity, in which you're going to get 30 payments. Those 30 payments are going to equal $70 million. The first payment is going to be $1,053,600. You get that day one. And then you're going to get 29 more payments. And the second payment, which would be 1 year and 1 day from the first payment, is 1,106,000. That's 5% greater than 1,053,000. And the idea is that this annuity is a 5% growing annuity, meaning every year grows to 5% greater than the year before. So the second payment's 1,106,000. The third payment is 1,161,000, because that's 5% more than 1,106,000. And the fourth payment, would be 5% greater than 1,169,000. And by the time you get to the 29th or 30th payment, it'd be about 3 million. It's about, About 3 times what the first number is. You add it all up. The 1,000,001, this number right here, there's a real big equation right in there to calculate, because the question, you know, when you phrase the question to a math teacher, you say, "Math teacher, I just won $70 million. And if I won $70 million and they're supposed to pay me, whoops, a 5% growing annuity, what would that first payment be?" And that is one fancy equation to get there. Yep. So that's, so I added a column in there. So we know it's 4,108,000 you put in the side pocket. They're going to credit your account with 24,016,000. Get 4,108,000 out of there and put it in an interest-bearing separate account. And just tag it, Jimmy Wilson lottery winnings, 13% tax, in brackets. Put it in the address bar. And that way you got the 19,908,000 left to go play with. So I'd take that 19 million. What would I do with that 19,908,000? Well, my idea would be, I'm going to elect the lump sum. I'm pretending. Let's pretend. All right. So we got to put 31,600,000 on your tax return in TurboTax. What was your earnings this year? 31,600,000. Woo! The long arm of Uncle Sam took 24% of it as a withholding tax. So 24,016,000 is what actually gets funded in your account. Now I'm going to take 4,108,000 and put it in the side pocket because I'm going to owe that other 13%. Surely I'm in the maximum tax bracket. Maybe I get lucky and it'd be slightly less than that, but I'm going to make sure. I'm assuming that I'll be in the maximum tax bracket. So that means I have 19,908,000. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take 10 million of that. I'm going to split this up into 10 million and then 9,908,000 in the keep that in the main account. Move 10 million out and put it in the Jimmy account. Now so I got 9,908,000 left over. So of that 9,908,000, I'm going to split that up into 2 buckets. So now I got, let's just say 5 million in one bucket and 4,908,000 in the other bucket. So if I got 5 million, I'm going to split that up into 4 pieces. I got 4 kids. So 5 million is going to go to 4 people. So what, so it's a 1,250,000. So 1,250,000. Each kid is going to get 1,250,000. That gets rid of There's your $1,250,000. I'm not going to tell you how to spend it or not spend it. My suggestion is that'll give you about $1 million net probably, because you got to pay income tax on that $1,250,000. So now we got $4,908,000 left over, and that's going to split another 5 or 6 ways to their other relatives. So they'll get that $750,000. Yep. And then we'll put $1 million in the side pocket, another side pocket. And we'll put that in a 4% account. So that's $40,000 a year. And pay that to Tunstall Towers. And split that between Tunstall Towers and the Danny Thomas Hospital for children. So they'll earn the interest off that $1 million. So they'll each get, roughly $20,000 a year. We'll pay them monthly. So you take, so they'll get. $20,000. So every month, each of those two charities will get $1,666. Yeah, what the heck? That's like 100 Tunstall Towers. They want you to just fund $11 a month. Well, this would be 151 people funding $11 a month, all in one lump sum. Every month, they'll get they'll get there you go. You multiply it, divide it either way. It's roughly $1,600 a month. Not bad. So that way that million's there all the time, And just keep funding them, That million keeps sitting there and keeps funding those two charities. And if one of those charities goes away, then all of it goes to the remaining charity. If that charity goes away, and then all of that stops, and the $1 million gets split up between our 4 children. If there's only 3, it gets split up between 3. If there's only 2 surviving children, it gets split up between the 2. If there's only 1 surviving child, then that child gets all of it. And if that person isn't survived, then it gets split up between all the grandchildren. Hopefully there's a couple of those left over. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. 19 million, it goes, 19,908,000 shrinks up real quick. Yes. When you win $500 million, like that one up above, the very top line there, 70 million turns into 19,908,000, after all federal tax. Thank God we don't have any state tax. That winner of that $533 million one's the only in the top. After all federal tax came down to 151 million left. That's a lot of money after all tax if you live in Florida. Yeah, wow. 151 million. Well, anyway, since this lottery is only in its second rollover, third rolling, roll over John Dover. There you go. So it went from 50 million to 60 million to 70 million. So tonight at 70 million at 11 o'clock, someone may win all or some portion of that 70 million. Yeah. That's the way I see it on my spreadsheet there. This is a picture file. I can turn it upside down. This is not the spreadsheet. I can't louse it up. With these touch screens, boy, you start, doing that with a spreadsheet on a touch screen. That could be the end of that spreadsheet. I've pretty much got that spreadsheet the way I like it. Yeah. A couple of birthdays ago, I got a 5.7 by 28 cartridge handgun. M&P, Smith & Wesson M&P just came out with a folding 16.5 millimeter carbine rifle. Yeah. It's got a 16.5 inch barrel. Threaded barrel. Chambered for 5.7 by 28 millimeter cartridge, which is a supersonic cartridge. It's got a threaded barrel. I have a silencer that will screw on. It's a 9 millimeter silencer. And boy, when you shoot that, it just goes. It's really pretty quiet. I was surprised. It really suppresses that sound. Takes away all the flash. You don't see any flash. I looked in it. Yeah, we shot 50 rounds through it. Looks really clean. I think there'd be a lot of soot and stuff in there, and it's not. Got a little special wrench. You turn it, and then you can open it up. Take a peek. I took a peek. Looks pretty clean. So for about $619, you can pick that baby up at guns.com. Have it sent down to your local tactical supply. I think if I were to get lucky and get one of those, I'd have it sent down to the 1700 gun range. Down on Paroline Road. 1800 Paroline Road. Yeah, it's about 5 miles away south on Paroline. Or the tactical, Boca Raton Tactical, that's in the 4100 block of North Federal Highway. That's about 3 miles away. So it's either 5 miles or 3 miles, depending on whether you want to go north or south. One's on Federal Highway, the other one's on, Paroline Road. Yep, there's the folding carbine. It's folded. Barrel's folded. That's the top part. Whoops. Doing. There it is. Yeah, so it's like the barrel's folded underneath, looking at it that way. This way, see the barrel's folded on top. This is looking the other way. Yeah. That's the whole match right there. I'm looking to see, as you can tell. No, I don't want to. TMZ says no one was seriously injured in Tiger Woods' crash. All right, well. Just seeing it on a bulletin that come across on Fox News. All right, source bands. We gotta let's see where Marilyn is. Is she actually in the car? So we can go right here. Ooh, Marilyn is close. You see her moving right there? Yeah. The miracles of the Tesla car. Has a little GPS, I can see just where it is. I'm supposed to meet her downstairs. Guess what? I'm going to have to say bye-bye. You all have a great afternoon. She's picking me up. We're going to Mia Rosebud for a little happy hour. Everyone's invited. Bring your own credit card. Bye-bye. After midnight tonight, there'll be episode 581. Let's see what happened with a Friday night pick of the $70 million Mega Millions lottery. Bye-bye.